So we're back to my hand woven, hand spun tote bag. And even though it may not look like it because you can't see it in frame right now, a week of testing, well, okay, 2 days of testing because I work from home most of the time, but a couple of days of testing showed me that I had just hit it out of the park, grand slam home run with the design, size, and execution of this bag. The size turned out to be perfect. The materials turned out to be perfect. I have not yet worn it while I'm wearing a white t-shirt to check the shedding capabilities of this yarn, but that will happen soon and very soon because it's been really warm here in Colorado, probably this coming week. But I am feeling like, wow, this is the perfect bag. And for me, the real test came when I was in my car, had the bag on the floor of the passenger seat, and it tipped over when I braked, and everything didn't come rushing out of the bag, which can happen when you're using like slick materials or something that doesn't have any grab to it. And because this wool has a lot of grab to it, and because the pockets weren't huge, it did not happen this time. And that made me so very happy I could cry. So, what I'm doing today is planning for a new strap. I'm sampling for a new strap. I mentioned last weekend that I had gotten some inspiration through a class via Long Thread Media. And this class is taught by Joan Sheridan, just spelled the usual way. She is the owner of Heritage Spinning and Weaving in Michigan. And she taught a class on a technique called turned krokbragd, which I am probably not pronouncing correctly because, doggone it, that's just a hard word to say. Uh, what she does in this class is she shows you how to take an inkle loom, a typical inkle loom. This is, and in fact, she uses Schacht's inkle loom in the process, and make it a little more, I'm going to say challenging, fun. It increases the pattern capabilities to use a krokbragd pattern on it. And the turn in the name comes from the fact that you're just turning it sideways because this is a warp-faced weave from regular krokbragd, which is weft-faced. So you set up your loom, and you can see it here in my still very messy kitchen. It's just never going to get better than this, people. You can see that I have got the usual set of heddles, and I've got a heddle 1 set and a heddle 3 set. So one of the reasons krokbragd is such a neat variation for inkle weaving, well, for any kind of weaving, for rigid heddle weaving, shaft loom weaving, whatever, is it takes 3 shafts, 3 sheds, as opposed to the 2 you normally get on an inkle loom or a rigid heddle loom, or the multi-shaft that you can get on a shaft loom. So turned krokbragd is my new cool thing. And like I said, what I'm doing today is playing. So I've got my loom all set up, and I set it up deliberately with the shortest possible warp. This is not going to be a long band. And in fact, I may ultimately decide when I've kind of done my bit here that I'm ready to be done, and I will just take it off the loom early, because it turns out that I've in the process of playing, I have made so many mistakes, and I've learned so much that I don't know that I'm ever going to want this band to be seen in public. It might just go, I don't know, it might just go straight into the trash. So let's zoom in a little more closely, and I will talk about what I've learned and show you a little bit of the process without giving away too much, because Joan is an excellent instructor, and if this is something that interests you, if inkle weaving in general interests you, you definitely want to add this to your repertoire, and I don't want to give away her big secrets. Okay, so let's take a close look at what I've woven. So I turned the loom around first so that you could see the orientation of the sheep, and they're just adorable. I love this so much. I loved the pattern when I saw it on the advertisements for her course, and had thought to myself ages ago, oh, yeah, I really need to take that class. And well, here I am now, having taken it. So you can see that it's a band of sheep. And you can see all the mistakes I made at the beginning where I wasn't beading correctly, or I had threads that they weren't heddled wrongly, but they had been, I wasn't paying close enough attention to where things were going in my shed. And so these blues that shouldn't be here migrated up to the top, and that's kind of a problem. So didn't beat evenly. Blue migrated up to the top. This one's looking more like a sheep. This one's good. This one's good. This one's good. Blue migrated up to the top. And Joan's class teaches you how to watch for all these things. And then I've got this weird mutant sheep here. Oh, you can also see that I wasn't paying enough attention to keeping a consistent width in the band at the beginning, and that just looks awful to me. But then I started paying more attention and I got better at it. So I'm now becoming much more pleased with the way my sheep are turning out. I've got a couple of other plans in mind, though I haven't executed them yet. So first off, I'm using just uh, 5 2 mercerized cotton for the weft, which is not really seen except where you turn the edges on the band. Uh, oh, and before I forget, I want to show you my new favorite thing. Somebody had mentioned this. I can't remember where I saw it. I think it was in a newsletter for one of the many newsletters I get for different weaving and spinning and knitting groups. Uh, Somebody had mentioned using these bendable hair clips on skeins of yarn so that you wouldn't lose the end. Well, I honestly have more problems with that on my cones of yarn for weaving. And it's so I just bought a pack of these snappable barrettes at the grocery store this morning. And by gum and by golly, wow, now I know where my end is and it's secured, and I'm not going to have loose yarn rolling all around my cone stash. Uh, and now I'm about to buy them in bulk for all of my knitting yarns that come with ball bands holding everything securely, and for all my cones. Okay, but back to the sheep. So so the other things I'm going to try. Uh, 5/2 cotton is the same weight that I used for the warp yarn. But one of the things Joan mentions is that you can use a really fat weft, and you'll get different results. The sheep will get fatter because the warp has to go over a much wider space as you beat it in. So when I make the real one for my bag, I am going to start off with much fatter yarn. I'm going to start off with worsted weight yarns, and then I'm going to use a much fatter weft. In fact, I might even double this for use on the real thing. But again, I won't know till I sample. And then I will have about 1.5 inch wide strap, which is much more suitable for a tote bag. And then I will have fatter sheep, and who doesn't love fatter sheep? So this is what I'm learning. Is it is really, really good for me to give myself permission, especially as what we might call an experienced weaver, to give myself permission to start over, to try it, to start from the beginning, to remember what it's like to have to pay super close attention to my selvages. Sorry, there's the pressure cooker going off, and I'm too far away from it to turn it off. Um, to pay attention to my selvages, to pay attention to my beat, to get back into the habit, because I'm not an experienced ankle weaver, of noticing what sheds are up, what sheds are down, especially when I've got 3 sheds to worry about now with this krokbragd device. So it's not a waste of materials. It's not a waste of time. It's it's the finger exercises you do when you're learning to play the piano or when you're keeping your skills going as a pianist. It is the swatch you make before you the swatch you knit or crochet to check your gauge. It's figuring out how these materials, how these colors, how your techniques and your design choices play together, which I think it can be really hard for us adults. We're used to having this, at least my generation, we're used to having this mindset of, oh, it'll waste materials. Oh, I'm using up all that yarn. Oh, I'm spending all this time. And it's good for us, I think, to be kids again, to just dive in and mess around, play in the sandbox, see what happens when you do it this way instead of that way. Refine your techniques. I'm already discovering that there are things I can do when I lift these different sheds that will make my weaving faster and smoother, which I always appreciate. So ankle weaving is really fun, really accessible, really simple, doesn't require a lot of equipment, doesn't require a lot of yarn. Even kids can manage it without crying in frustration. Sometimes even adults can too. And it can do so much. So if you get the chance to inkle weave, do it. And then broaden your repertoire. See what new skills you can bring into the mix as you uh, once you've invested in this very cute, very portable loom, and see where that takes you. So I will be inkling for at least the next 2 weeks because I want to make a real strap for my bag, and I've got a new purse lined up, and that will need a strap as well. And I'm probably not going to do sheep, but I might choose to do something that coordinates with these sheep somehow. I don't know what that will be yet, but we'll see. Stay tuned for more.